Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we'll be doing something a little different. Today I'll be doing some Node stuff since I've been doing a lot of React Native lately. And specifically today we will create a little neat app which will alert us about new products. And in this case it's going to be new products on Marketplace. So I don't know if you're in the same situation as me, but sometimes I have an idea of something that I want to buy, but I don't really want to pay full price. I'm kind of looking for that discount price, so I'm trying to get something second hand, but I'm not that kind of type spending a bunch of time on Marketplace or any website looking for stuff. So yeah, I'd rather just get a notification about it if something interesting comes up. And also the good deals are usually gone within a day, so yeah, if you're not constantly looking, you're gonna miss out. So basically, yeah, that's what this little app will do. It will alert us if there's something interesting there. And I already wrote a little bit of code here, and this code might look familiar to you if you have watched a previous video where I basically explain how the GraphQL API works for Facebook. And yeah, okay, that's cool. So I'm just gonna explain this code real quick. Currently you can see I have a function here, it's called getData. I have a body here which is pretty much a gigantic string. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this one later, how we can break it down, how we can actually edit this stuff in here without it getting too messy. Okay, so this is the body, and here is our fetch request, which is just a post request to the facebook.com API GraphQL. Here we're setting content type to application xvvv form URL encoded, and then we just insert the body. And we grab some data and we loop over the data here. And yeah, that's all good. So if I actually run this code, it will just print a bunch of things here. But this is pretty useless, but at least we're grabbing some data in there. So now let's actually try to break down this body part here. Okay, so first of all, we need to figure out what is the product we're looking for. So we need a search word. Okay, so I'm not going to define this one outside here, and I'm just going to type something. So recently I've been looking for a camera, so I'm going to put in the model I'm looking for here, and yeah, that's looking fine. Now this body, this long string, by the way, we can get this string if we go on the marketplace and we open up the network tab and we look for the payload. This is what will come out, something similar to this. Okay, so for your use case, yeah, okay, let's just move on. So now I actually want to see what's in here. So what I can do is I can actually I need to import something. So the thing I'm looking for is the query string library that comes baked in with Node, and I'm looking for that parse function. So let's call parse on query string and then pass in our body, and let's just have a quick look at how it looks. Now we should be able to get a good idea of what's going on. So let's run the code again. Sorry, that's not it. Here. Okay, so this looks more readable now. We have some user stuff. We have a bunch of variables here we don't really understand. The important part here is this part. So as you can see, this part is also just a long string, and we may note that this is a JSON. So we can actually further parse stuff. So let's define a new variable here. let's do JSON parse on body dot variables. Okay, and let's try to log this one out. Oh, there seems to be an issue here, so let me see, what did I do wrong? It seems like I tried to target body and I need to target parsed, because I can't just go into the string and expect to reach anything. So let's jump back, log it again, and now we can see a little more clear what's going on. So inside this variable string, we have some interesting things here. So we have some latitude, longitude. This is within the location we're searching. We are searching within this radius kilometers. And here is our query. So this is what we're searching for. Right now we're searching for OST, which is cheese in Danish. We don't want that. So let's modify this part. Like, this is the important part. This is stuff we need to modify. So let's modify it so it's looking for what we need here. So let's see here. So variables. So we can do variables. You can see params here, right? Params, and then target BQF, and then query. And here we just put in our search word, which is up here. Okay. Now we modified that. We can also modify the location. Here you just modify it to your location. This is my location, so that's okay. I'm just gonna leave it since it's right for me. Okay. Yeah, so everything else is okay. So that's really all I want to modify. So now I need to stringify it back, basically. So let's delete these log statements and let's start our stringification. So parsed dot variables, right? I'm gonna set it to JSON stringify variables here. So now I've changed variables. So now I'm stringifying it back. Cool. And now we also need to stringify our body here that we passed. So let's define a new variable, call it new body, and let's just call on our query string here, let's call stringify, and then just pass in parsed, since it has been the parsed version here we have modified. Okay, that's awesome. Now we are looking good. Now we can go down here, and then instead of passing body in, we can pass in new body. Looking good. Now let's actually see if we're getting some results back that matches the search word. So down here in the loop, we may log out the title, right? That might be interesting. So I know this structure, so I'm just gonna basically write it out. So for each edge under data market place search feed units edges, there are a node.edge.listing, and in here we have some properties that are relevant to the different listings. And one is ID, another one is marketplace listing title, another one is formatted price. These would be some interesting things to look at. Let's just log the marketplace listing price for now, and let's see if we're getting items that match our keyword. So if we clear this up, run it again, we see that the results here are looking pretty good. It's not the model I'm looking for, but that just means that they don't have it right now. It's not available, and that makes sense because it's a kind of new model, so that's okay. So what's the next step? What is the next step? Right. So since we're gonna have this function run regularly, we need to have a kind of like a map so we don't post notifications about items we already seen. So outside, I'm gonna define a new variable. I'm just gonna call it entries, and this is gonna be an empty object. Okay, so in here, now I can check if entries on the ID spot, if there is nothing here, right? That means we just reached a new item. So I want to notify about this item. So outside my for loop, I'm just gonna define an array here. I'm gonna call it new items. And I'm gonna push something to the new items. And I'm gonna push the ID, the marketplace title, and also the price. And then I'm gonna set entries to true here. Okay. So the reason why I'm just putting true here is because I just don't want to put too much jargon into this object. I just want to see if I have previously seen this item. So I'm just checking on the ID and putting in true here. Okay. So next time we check here, this will be true in case it's the same ID. All right, that's looking good. Now we're getting the new stuff. What is the next part? The next part is we want to notify, right? And the easiest way to be notified is, in my opinion, just sending an email to yourself. So for this, I'm gonna pull in a library. So if you go back to here, we can do npm install node mailer. And I'm just going to install another package while I'm at it, and that's going to be node-cron. And this node-cron package, we use it for running this regularly, basically. Okay, back here to the code, let's define our transporter. So a transporter is kind of like a configuration of your email. So let's start off by importing node mailer. So node mailer, require node mailer. Okay, so here we can start defining that. So we need to do node mailer, create transport, and here put in our configuration. So I'm using Gmail. So in host, I'm going to put SMTP, ethereal, email. And the service is going to be Gmail. I'm going to just put a port in here. I think this is default stuff, 587. Secure. I'm just gonna put false, and off here I'm gonna put in my credentials. So here will be my username, and here is gonna be my password. Okay. Now, if you're using Gmail as well, you need to go into your Gmail settings and make sure you allow less trusted apps to do operations with your account. I don't know if I can recommend it or not to do that, but it definitely gets the job done. So up to you. Okay, so this is our email setup. Now I want to send an email, and first I want to format. I want to format the update, so the items that are new. So I'm just gonna define text, and I'm gonna loop through new items, and I'm gonna map through them. So how do I want to display this data? So first, I think I want to show the title. So item.marketplace listing title, and the next thing I want to see is probably going to be the price. And under this formatted price, there's text property. So I'm just gonna output that. And then here, I'm gonna put a link in to Facebook Marketplace. So that looks like this. And then at the end, I'm gonna have the ID. So it's gonna be item.id. Okay, this makes it very easy. I get the name, the price, and then I can just click on the link in the email to see that item if it seems promising. All right, and then at the end, I'm gonna do a join with 2 spaces. So I get on a new line, and then I have also a blank line just to separate my items. Okay, cool. Now we're ready to send our email. So we can do transporter.send email. And then here we can put my from address and my to address. And then the subject here, which is gonna be something like new items for whatever search word we had up there. And then the text is just gonna be text. So this string here. So let's just try to see how that looks real quick. So let's just outcomment that and then run the app. Okay, I've got to log it. That's unfortunate. Let's do that now. Okay, yes. All right. It's looking good. The title, we have the price, we have a link. That's all we need. Clear that one out. Go back here, and yeah, that's looking good. Now we want this to run on a regular basis, right? We want to have this cron job running at a specific interval. And that's where node-cron comes in. So now I can do, first I need to import it, right? So up here, cron require node-cron. And now I can do cron schedule. And I would like to get an alert every hour. So I can do **** and then 0. At minute 0. And here I can put in get data. So I can remove this. And yeah, this is more or less the setup. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video real quick and I'm gonna show you that it actually works with my email and password. All right, so I put in my email password here. So now, instead of putting this on a schedule, because I'm not going to deploy it right now, I'm just going to call get data here and then check my mail. So if we change that code back and then run the app, I'm going to check my email now. Alright guys, here is the email, and yeah, that's working pretty well. So job well done. Now just some final notes here at the end. If you want to have this service running, you need to have some kind of hosting. Yeah, you need to have some kind of hosting, I guess, unless you want your own machine to be on all the time. And since we're using an in-memory object to check if items are new or not, if the service goes down, it might report duplicates. But the marketplace is pretty active, so that's yeah, that's pretty unlikely that has a big impact, I would say. Alright guys, that's all I want to show you. Hope this was useful in any way, and I'll post the link to the code in the description. So have a good day and see you in the next one.